Hi girls, let's start this chapter, which is a new chapter. This chapter will be talking about polynomials. So in this lesson, we are going to discuss about adding and subtracting polynomials. So let's see what is polynomial is. So in the objective of this lesson, classify, add, and subtract polynomials. I start, in this lesson we have lots of vocabulary to learn, and I don't think that you have an idea about them before, because I have been teaching you 3 years, so I don't think that you have any idea about polynomials. So first of all, what is polynomial? So polynomial is poly means many, and nomials from means terms, which is the number of terms. So polynomial contain many terms. So let me give you example. What is polynomial is? I can say 3x the power 2 plus 2x plus 3, for example, which means including many terms. That's example of polynomials. So it's a type of algebraic expression with many terms having variables and the coefficient, which is what we call it polynomials. So this is the meaning of polynomial. Let's see, we have many kind of polynomial. So which is one from the kind of polynomial which is monomial. So monomial is a real number, a variable, or a product of a real number and one or more variable. I mean, it's like one term. If you have one term like this, that's what we call it monomial. So if you have one term basically in an easier way like this, that's what we will call it monomial. So this is the idea. Monomial is kind of polynomial, but the basic thing and the general thing is polynomial, which is what I gave you here example. We can have maybe more terms, less than these terms, and so on. Now let's start deeply about degree of polynomial. So degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables. So here, for example, what is the degree of the polynomial? You will look at the variable that you have. Do you have variable? No. That means the degree of this polynomial is 0. What is the degree here of this monomial? It's 1. Why? Because the power of this variable is 1. Here, what is the degree of this monomial? It is 2. Why? Because the power that I have here for the variable is 2. What about this one? What is the degree of the monomial here, which is 1 plus 3, which is 4. So the degree is 4. As they said here, the sum of the exponent of its variable, because I have two different variable here, that's why I said it's 4. What is the degree here? It's a 1. A to the power 1, so it is a 1. So let me give you more exercises about the degree of the monomial, sorry. So the degree of monomial here, it's directly here, the power here for the variable is 1. So the degree is 1. What about this one? 3 plus 2. So the degree here plus 5. 5. The degree here, what is the degree here? It's a 0 because I don't have variable. And even if I have variable, I can say any variable could be raised to a power 0. That means that is 1, which is nothing affect with my 4. So this is the idea. So the degree here 1, that's what we did. And the degree here is 5 because the exponent is 3 plus 2, which is the sum is 5. And here, that's what I did, which is the degree is 0. The degree is here 0. So what is the degree of these? Here is 1 if there is nothing, and there is 1. So the degree here, the degree is, this is the degree is 2. What is the degree here? The variable. The power for the variable is equals to 4, and here 1. So the degree is 5. So the degree is 5. Let me give you more exercises before I move. What is the degree here? The degree here is 1. What is the degree here? The degree is 3. What is the degree here for the constant or for the numbers? 0. What is the degree here? 10. B, for 8 plus 2, it's 10. What is the degree here? 0. What is the degree here? 4. What is the degree here? 0. What is the degree here? Y to the power 3, and here is 1, so 3 plus 1 is 4. The degree is 4. So that's the idea. Remember, these are monomial. These are monomial, which is kind of polynomial. What about the general? If we have polynomial, what is the degree of polynomial? What should we do with that? Let me tell you in the coming slides. But before I do that, let me show you how I will add or subtract the monomials. If I have two monomials like this, once I add them or subtract them, if they are like terms, I mean they are exactly the same powers, the same variables, just add their coefficient. So which will be 8 to the power 8x to the power 2. Same thing here. This one and this one exactly same. So they have the same coefficient, the same variables, the same powers. So directly I can say 4 minus here is the like 1. So 4 minus 1, I can say it's a 3x to the power 3y. So you are not changing anything with this part. Let's see if we have something look like this. So negative 6 and 11. I have x to the power 4, x to the power 4. They are like terms, so I can directly add or subtract their powers. Remember, here I have negative 6. So negative 6 plus 11, which will be equals to 4. So that is 4x to the power 4. Now they are telling you what is the difference of this one. First check x to the power 2, y to the power 4, x to the power 2, y to the power 4. Yes, they are like terms. So since they are like terms, just directly say 2 minus 7. It's negative 5 according to the sign rule. So negative 5, x to the power 2, y to the power 4, and that's it. So you learned something like this, especially the monomial, but under another name, under adding and subtracting algebraic expression. That's what you learned before. You learned something before, just only this part, but polynomial, you did not learn anything about it. Let's have more exercises. I'm going to do with you more exercises to make sure that you are confident from this part. So let me do with you here again, B and B. So that will be 12 plus 8. That will be 20 P to the power 2. I just want you to have big note. Please, please be careful. If you have, for example, 12 P to the power 2 plus, multiplication. So that is if you have times, this is multiplication, 8 to the power P to the power 2 and 12P plus 8P to the power 2. This one is from the previous chapter. That's equals to 12 times 8. You are going to multiply them, which is the 12 times 8. Then you are going to write it's 96. 96, if you have then same base, add their powers, which is P to the power 4. So that's okay, you can say that. Here, if you don't have these, the same coefficient, you cannot, the same powers and the same base, you cannot add them. Be careful. That's equals to 20p to the power 2. What about if you have, for example, let me give you another and simple example. If I have 2x to the power 3 times, that's multiplication, 3x to the power 2. And we have 2x to the power 3 plus 3x to the power 2. That's equals to same base between the multiplication at the powers. So that is x to the power 6. And we are going to multiply the numbers, which is 6. But here, no. Can I say this is equals to 5x to the power what? So that's big mistake. That's wrong. You cannot wrong. If you don't have them the same power, the same base, which means like terms, you cannot add them or subtract them. Please be careful with this. Now let me continue. Let me continue working on that. So here we have 2 plus 9. Let me check. Are these same? Are these same? This is the question that I must ask myself if I have addition, especially with addition and subtraction. Yes, M3, M3, N3, N3. Okay, fine. 2 and 9, just add them, which is 11. Copy the same term. 3 and 3. Same thing with the rest, because the rest exactly the same idea, and I don't want it boring, just listening to the same idea. Let me move to the next part. So here they just give you more deeply about a polynomial. So a polynomial is a monomial or a sum of monomials, which means many terms. As I told you, monomial is just one term. So our sum, the sum of many terms like this, that will be polynomial. So the following polynomial is the sum of monomials, which is like that. Now the degree of each one from these, this is 4, this is 2, this is 1, and this is 0. Now the standard form of polynomial means the degree of monomials terms decrease from left to right. So you are going the standard form, you are going to list them from the greatest to least degree, definitely, according to the degree. So this is the standard form. Like, for example, I will give you another example from my mind. Let's say, for example, x to the power 3 plus, let's say 2x to the power 4, or let's say 2, for example, plus 2x plus 1. That's a standard form. Why this is a standard form? Because the degree of this monomial is a 3. The degree of this monomial 2. The degree of this monomial 1. The degree of this one is 0. So from greatest to least, that's what we will call it a standard form of a polynomial. Now the degree of a polynomial is the greatest. Can you see the greatest monomial? The degree of the greatest monomial, will be the degree of your polynomial. So let's see here. So is in one variable is the same as the degree of the monomial with the greatest exponent. So is the greatest exponent. So the degree of this one is 4. The degree of this polynomial is a 3. So that's the idea. Let me give you more details. So once we classifying polynomial, we have two things. We can classify it according to the degree of the polynomial, or we can classify it according to the number of terms. If we are classifying it according to the degree, which is like this, the degree, here is some example. If we have degree 0, it's always constant, which is one term. One term is monomial. But that's not mean always the monomial, the degree of monomial is 0. No, the monomial, which means one term, it could be 3x, it could be 1, it could be 3x to the power 2, and so on. It could be xy. The only thing that I need to know is just one term. One term maybe between the multiplication, no problem. So it is one term. But if I have degree 1, which is like this, 5x plus 9, which is always linear. That's what I was telling you also in linear chapter. If you have all the powers, the degree of, or the exponent for all the power 1, that means the degree of this polynomial is 1. That means it's linear. If you have two terms, we are going to call this polynomial binomial. So binomial, which means according to the number of terms, it's binomial. Here the number of terms, which is, this is the example. If we have power 2, if the greatest power is 2, like this, according the degree of the polynomial will be quadratic. If I have three terms, we will call it trinomial. So trinomial is a 3 terms. If I have something like this, the greatest power is a 3, so that is a cubic. So that's a cubic, but I will call it monomial because it's one term. So there is no relation between number of terms and, I mean, in the names here, and the name of the degree of the polynomials. If I have the 4th degree like this, the 4th degree, so it is also will be according to the terms. So I would, this is the 4th degree, but because I have 3 terms, I will call it a trinomial. So the only new thing here, you need to know, for classifying by terms, it is only 3 things. What is these 3 things? If you have, for example, one term, it's monomial. Monomial. If you have 2 terms, binomial. If you have 3 terms, you are going to call it trinomial. That's it. According to the degree, if you have constant like this, the degree is 0. This is degree 1, which is always will be linear. This is degree 2, the greatest one, which is a quadratic. Degree 3, it's a cubic. From 4 and up, you will say 4th degree, 5th degree, 6th degree, and so on. In another way, that is more organized, just to make it easier for you. If you have one term, that is monomial. Here are some examples. 2 terms, binomial. 3 terms, that's a trinomial. So polynomials in general, which is what you have many terms, more than 3 terms. So overall, these are types of polynomial. Once you classifying the polynomial according to the degree, so the 0 degree, which is the constant that you have, any number, like this alone, this will be 0 degree. If you have linear polynomial like this, that's which is will be degree 1, always degree 1, because how can you figure it out? The greatest power for the polynomial, that will be the degree of your polynomial. Look at this, the greatest power is 2, that means the degree is 2 for this polynomial, which is what we call it quadratic polynomial. Cubic polynomial, which is degree 3, which is what you have here, some example. Let me give you more details. For this lesson, I will give you until here because I want you to study lesson and step by step. So write each polynomial in a standard form what is the name of the polynomial based on the degree and number of terms. So first of all, what is the degree for this one? It's a 1. What is the degree for this one? It's 2. So I need to change the order. So step 1, I'm going to write this one in standard form. So the standard form will tell me that should be the opposite. I should change the order. So it's 4x to the power 2 plus 3x. I answered the first one. I answered the first question. Now the second question, what is the name of the polynomial based on its degree and based on the number of terms? So based on degree, that will be, since you have, what is the degree here? The degree here is 2. Why it's 2? The greatest power that I have, it's 2. So the degree is 2. So since I have degree is 2, I will call this quadratic. So this is a quadratic polynomial. Now this is according to the based on the degree. Now what about the number of terms? We have, how many terms do we have? We have 2 terms. Since we have 2 terms, we can call this binomial. We have 2 terms. That means this is binomial. Binomial. So that's for this part. Again, with this one, first of all, I need to write it in standard form. Let me write it for you in red color, which is exactly the same thing. What is the degree here? It's a 1. What is the degree here? 0. What is the degree here? 3. What is the degree here? 1. I'm going to, so since I have this one, that means these two like terms. So I can add them and subtract them. It depends on their sign. So I have 4x and 7x. So these will be, let me rewrite this again. So that will be minus 1 plus 5x to the power 3 plus 4 plus 7, it's 11x. 11x, because these are like terms. What is the degree here now? 0. The degree here 3. The degree here is 1. So I'm going to order them from greatest to least. So this should be the first term. So 5x to the power 3 plus degree 1, 11x plus or minus, 1. That's 0 degree. Now I need to classify this one according to the degree. The degree is the greatest one. The degree is a 3. So since the degree is a 3, that means this will be, we'll call it trinomial. So that is a trinomial. Now finally, the number of terms. We have how many terms? 1, 2, 3. 3 terms also. Since we have a 3 terms, this 3 terms is a trinomial, then we call this cubic because of the degree. So because of the degree, it's a cubic, and because of the based on the number of terms is a trinomial. So I can show you the answer here in a clear way. Maybe you can just see it in clear way and just see the organization, and that's what we did. It just more, I just wrote for you more explanation to make it more clear. So that's is a quadratic binomial. So that's a quadratic binomial. That is, this is according to the degree. This is according to the number of terms. Number of terms. Same thing with this one, according to the degree. This is the number of terms. Let's write this one finally in a standard form. So this is degree 1. The first one is should be 8x to the power 2 plus 2x minus 3. So that's what should I write. What is the name of the polynomial based on the degree. So since I have the degree 2, so it's a quadratic trinomial because I have a trinomial because I have three terms. So let me show you, let me directly write for you the answer. So first of all, we have 8x to the power 2 plus 2x minus 3. Then to classify this one, that is because the power, the greatest power is 2. So that is a quadratic. Trinomial. Why I'm saying that? This is based on the degree of this one, the degree which is the power here too. That's why trinomial, because I have three terms. So with the practicing, you will feel this is more easy and clear. So here is more examples and more exercises. I will start by this problem, and then I will complete with you the next lesson, inshallah, in the next class. So good luck, girls. Since I take from your time in the previous video, so that's why I made this video a little bit shorter. So good luck and bye.